Skeptic Zone, a miracle of technology. A universe of reason, the Skeptic Zone.
Hello and welcome to the Skeptic Zone, episode number 20 for the 6th of March 2009. Richard Saunders with you once again. This week's episode we have an interview with Professor Richard Wiseman, famous for his quirkology, and then we'll have a little segment I recorded at Sydney, Skeptics in the Pub, where we talk about quackery and hear a song from Dave the Happy Singer. Now, a big thank you to everybody who listens to the show and subscribes, and a plea, if you really like the show, let people know, blog about us, write reviews on iTunes about us, send emails about us, scribble on walls, sing songs about us. Whatever you'd like to do, we would really appreciate it. So, having said that, let's get on to this week's episode and our interview with Professor Richard Wiseman. Professor Richard Wiseman is based at the University of Hertfordshire in the UK and has gained an international reputation for research into quirky areas of psychology, including deception, humour, luck, and the paranormal. Professor Wiseman has written The Luck Factor, a best-selling book exploring the lives and minds of lucky people. His latest book, Quirkology, explores the curious science of everyday life, including the psychology of lying, love, and laughter. And we're joined by Richard Wiseman now. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, I think, Richard Wiseman.
Good evening, actually. Yes, we're talking 9 o'clock in the evening my time. So, yeah, good morning to you and good evening from me.
It sounds like the two Ronnies almost, doesn't it? And it's good.
It's a very impoverished version of the two. It's the two Richards, if you're being very kind about how you might label us, yes.
That's right. Now, I have a copy of... I'm just going to jump straight away into having a quick chat about your book, Quirkology. I have a copy in front of me at the moment, and it's got a very clever cover. The cover is indeed an optical illusion, which you describe later on in the book. Is that the only cover for the book, or is there other covers, and was that your idea?
I think there are several other covers, but that is my favourite cover, and it was indeed my idea. So it's a particularly clever one, so I'm proud of it. There are actually two experiments or two bits of psychology built into the cover. The first one is the optical illusion, as you say, that obviously we're on the radio here, so people won't be able to see it, yes. But basically it's a human face that as you turn upside down, kind of transforms into a particularly ugly and bizarre face. But the important thing, and this is the secret experiment, is that it's a woman's face, and on half of the books, her pupils have been enlarged just by a tiny, tiny amount. And then we can track whether men or women were buying those two different covers. And we found that around about 20% more guys bought the cover with the enlarged pupils, even though they had no idea that's why they bought that version of the book. So we kind of had a little secret experiment built into the book as well.
See, the trouble is, I only have one copy, and I can't compare it.
I think, yeah, I don't know which, if you turn it over, has it got a black or a yellow bar across the back of it by the barcode?
Black.
Okay, then in which case you have the enlarged, you have the large version there. So there we go. You may be a participant in a, yeah.
Although I must say it was a gift from a female, so there you go.
But the reason she gave it away is she'd see that woman on the front as a threat because she's such an attractive woman to other guys. So it all fits in with my theory, which I've just made up to fit the data there.
I believe you. Somehow I believe every word you're saying. So there you go, folks. I mean, not only... And that's just the cover. That's just the cover, the fun and games of the cover.
That's just the cover. You haven't even started on the book. And already it's fascinating.
It really is. And I take it that book has done remarkably well for you. It's a tie-in with your website, more or less, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the website there is to promote it. And it's kind of... I'm kind of proud of the Quirkology because it's about 10, 15 years of my work put into the single volume, and it covers a huge amount of my stuff, from the firewalking through to the lying, through to some of the parapsychology. And it just really is the type of psychology that I adore and I just get terribly excited about, and it just makes me sad there's not more of it out there. And I just thought, it's nice to put it into a single volume. It has gone all around the world. I think we've sold it in about 30 different languages now. And it's just so great to get feedback, particularly from students who say, I'm into psychology because of that book. It's wonderful.
It's interesting you should mention firewalking because the first time I met you was in fact almost 10 years ago here in Sydney, Australia, when you were speaking at the 3rd International World Skeptics meeting or convention. And
that's right. I remember I came across as an 18-year-old just 10 years ago, and we had a great time. That's right. Yeah.
It was a marvelous time. You did a little bit of cheesy stage magic, but the best thing about your talk...
What do you mean cheesy stage magic? That was a highly rehearsed, extremely classy act I have. I've travelled the world with that act. I have to keep moving all the time for obvious reasons, but yeah, cheesy stage magic. Can't believe it. That's it. We're finishing the interview now. All right, go on then. Carry on a little bit. I'll give you another 5 minutes.
Oh, very generous of you. Anyway, you were doing this cheesy stage magic, but the best thing, the best thing you did, and which really caught my attention and the crowd at the time, of course, is I think it was one of the first times you showed publicly or screened publicly the famous firewalking video, where you had the gurus who sincerely believed in magical powers walk across the pit of fire. Now, for the 3 people out there listening who may not have seen this video, it's probably on YouTube everywhere by now. Could you explain that for us?
That was something I did with the BBC, and over the years I've always worked with them to create experiments and science and psychology shows. And one day I had the idea of creating the world's longest firewalk to test these paranormalists who said that it was nothing to do with physics. I mean, the physics of it is very little heat is transferred from the coals to your feet. But they were saying, no, that's not the case. We use our mental abilities to put a kind of energetic force field around our body. And yet we're still only walking the 10 or 12 feet that scientists said, well, you'll be perfectly safe. So I went into the BBC meeting and said, come on, guys, why don't we test this by building the world's longest firewalk? Still to this day, I was amazed that they turned around and said, yep, good idea, let's do that, let's test them live. I think their rationale was that either these guys would get to the end of the firewalk and therefore overturn the known laws of physics, or they would burn themselves very badly trying, and either way it was going to be good television. So we set up this huge firewalk. It's 50 or 60 feet long. Live, these paranormalists spent the day meditating. They were professionals in the sense they made their living by teaching meditation techniques and then getting people to walk across the fire. And exactly as predicted by physics, around 15, 20 feet in, they burnt themselves. In order to jump off the coals, they needed to dig deeper into the coals, and that's where the really hot stuff is. So they did get second-degree burns, and so the final shots of them on the ground being attended to by paramedics. So it is a very startling piece of footage. I have shown it, as you say, all the way around the world. And it's in the book as well. And again, what I like about it is that it's an unusual twist on the firewalking. Skeptics have been doing that for quite a long time, and those demos are great. But what I'd like to do is come along and just kind of put a little bit of a different twist on it, and that was nice to see a paranormal claim being tested and shot down in such a sort of dramatic way.
Now, of course, we here in Australia are no strangers to having all sorts of interesting excuses presented to us upon the failure of claimants, be it water divining or talking to the dead or whatever the case may be. Did your firewalking gurus rationalize their failure somehow?
I mean, that's been my experience as well, I should just say. Over the years, I've tested lots of mediums and psychics, and when they've all failed the tests, as they have, I've yet to have any single one go, oh, that's it, I don't have these abilities, silly me. As you say, they're very good at, as we all are actually, rationalizing away the evidence. So, yes, with the firewalking, some of them thought they didn't have enough time to meditate, others thought that the cameras had put them off. There was one woman who was very interesting who refused to walk, having seen her colleagues burnt. And I said to her afterwards, why was that? And she said, well, actually, for me, it's about having this guardian angel with me that protects me from the heat. And just before I was about to walk, my guardian angel vanished, and so therefore I wasn't prepared to walk, which I thought was a kind of interesting guardian angel because it's one that's only there for the good times. As soon as the going gets tough, they leave. So, exactly as we've seen over the years, These sorts of tests do nothing to change the minds of the people who claim these abilities. I think what they do is change the minds of the open-minded public who see that and then suddenly start to doubt. We're never going to touch the extreme believers because, like the claimants themselves, they're going to have a reason to say, oh, this test wasn't fair. But I think there's a vast majority of people who are open-minded, who do see this stuff, and it does change their minds.
Yes, you're quite right. I think that the best thing we can do is, when we're filming these or presenting these, is keep in mind the open-minded public out there, because we have yet to have the experience where a believer said to us, well, I've completely failed this test. Gee, I must seriously question my own magical abilities. Maybe one day it'll happen. But putting these things online, as that video no doubt is, you're finding great success with your own videos on YouTube, and I think probably your most famous one would be the color change, and I've actually seen other people completely copy that and then credit you right at the end of their presentation. Are you surprised how popular that particular video has become?
Oh, utterly amazed. Utterly amazed. I had the idea for it in my head for about 6 months. You have to get it just right, and I kept changing little bits of it in my head and rerunning it and thinking, no, that's not quite right. I mean, for people who haven't seen it, basically it looks like a card trick, but actually there's something else going on. The camera work has to be very precise on it. So I was carrying around the idea, and then one day I just said to the team in the lab, I said, let's just get together and film this thing and see what it looks like. And we spent pretty much a full day filming it. There's around about 60 takes of it, and eventually ended up with some footage we liked. And just stuck it out there, had no idea at all whether it would take off. It did. It became a viral video, and because of that, there's a platform for some of the other Quirkology videos as well. So, yeah, it is amazing. And the reason I got into psychology all those years ago was I opened textbooks, which we used to have at the time, before the internet came along, with optical illusions in. And I got very excited about these illusions. And I hope that some of the Quirkology videos will act in the same way. So when I see students or anyone else copying them and doing their own versions, as happened with Color Change Card Trick, and I think the prediction one as well, I think it's great. I just see it as people getting involved in psychology and science and just having a good time with it. And hopefully some of those people will go on to study it at the universities and so on. So, yeah, I am amazed. I think the whole channel is up to about 5.5 million views now. So it's wonderful.
That's great, because when I saw that for the first time, and I'm not going to say what happens, because there may be people out there who need to discover this for themselves, but I didn't see the trick. Let me just say the trick or the gimmick, or we both know what we're talking about, completely went by me. And so when I watched it again and I saw what really happened, I was floored. But I must say the gorilla and the basketball one is one I picked up on. But I was completely knocked out by the magical mirror one you have, where the hand is in front of the mirror. It took me a while to figure that one out.
Yeah, again, I wanted to try and produce a video where something vanished but still remained in full sight. That was the little goal. That was what I had in my head. And I should explain, I come from a background as a magician, and obviously magicians make things vanish all the time. So I wanted this idea of a vanish, but the object remained in full sight. And that's where the mirror one came from. And also often, as I explained on the Quirkology website, these things are driven by things that I've seen. So there's a very famous quirkology art routine with a mirror. I also drove my own particular video, and it's just nice to be able to contribute something. And YouTube gives you a platform that just wasn't around 10 years ago. You can put something out, and essentially a way of distributing these short clips and hopefully getting other people excited about what excites me.
Absolutely, and I think YouTube is a brilliant little format for that, because the videos don't have to be super high quality, and they're only short, and you can produce one in a day and have hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of people watching it. Now, one of the things I wouldn't mind talking to you for about a second, I remember way back in 2000 when you came on stage, one of the things that you apologized for when you showed the firewalking video was you said you were so thin in the video because you've just come back from India.
Yes. Yep.
Now, I had the pleasure of visiting India to speak at the Rationalist Conference there about 5 years ago or so. and they're a remarkable group of people. What were your experiences when you visited India? Because I find it a fascinating place.
Well, losing a great deal of weight was my main experience. I did that very, very successfully. I have to say, you do have a fantastic memory because I don't mention the fact that I'm actually quite thin in the firewalking video. It's not something I do every time I enter. I must have obviously mentioned it in Sydney. So amazing, you remember these things. But in India, the main testing the gurus, we tested one guy called Swami Premananda, who claimed to be able to materialize objects in his hands. And we tested him by putting his hand into a plastic bag so that he couldn't essentially pick up the object from his clothing or hidden behind else. And under those test conditions, he simply couldn't do it. And in fact, then again, we sort of essentially caught him cheating later on. That was one investigation. Other was with Sai Baba, where we tried to, and he's a very well-known God man, probably the best known of them, with a huge following. And we actually ran a kind of religious retreat. There'd been an assassination attempt on him, so it was all kind of locked down in terms of security. But whilst we were there, the Dushan, which is the Indian BBC essentially, managed to film Sai Baba producing a necklace. And the rumour was they caught him cheating, that the film had been destroyed. We managed to track down that film, had it digitally enhanced, take it out of the country. And yes, indeed, I think it does show evidence of sleight of hand, and that's since appeared on several documentaries. My experience there was that, A, it's a wonderful country, B, the rationalists who are doing the kind of guru busting are doing such a fantastic job under such difficult conditions, going into villages and so on, and showing how some of the gurus are faking this off. And that some of the gurus themselves were to be tested. I mean, and I think that, and the test didn't come out in their favor, but still the fact that they were prepared to engage with them, I think was wonderful. So it is one of my favourite countries. And once I get the weight back, I'll be back there.
Yes, I too magically lost some weight when I visited India, but it was a worthwhile experience. Even though I was really clever too. I didn't drink the water, and I was very clean and very careful. I must have, it's easy to happen in India. Now, we'll be wrapping up in a moment, but two things to sort of round this off. First, can you please discuss with our listeners who weren't at the last amazing meeting in Las Vegas your marvelous mass spoon bending, and that might lead on to you speaking about your experiments with luck.
Indeed, the mass spoon bending was something I did with Tracy King from February Marketing, and what we did was to basically give everyone in the room a secretly prepared spoon, which allowed them all to bend the spoon with the power of their minds, allegedly, actually using some trickery, and we filmed that and placed it on YouTube. And again, I think that's got several thousand views, so that was a fun thing to do. And the idea there was to really kind of reclaim spoon bending, because it is a great magic trick, and it really should be in the realm of magic and not in the paranormal. So that was a kind of fun thing to do there. In terms of the psychology of luck, I mean, I love skepticism, and I spent most of my working life in it. My worry with it sometimes is that we are terribly good at criticizing and saying these things are not true, but not so good at saying, actually, science and psychology can help you in your life. We know that most people believe in the paranormal because they've got a problem. They're not reading the journals and convinced by the scientific evidence. They're going along for a psychic because they've got a problem with their relationship, or they're worried about their career or their finances or whatever. And so what I wanted to do with the work into luck and the Luck Factor book was really say, look, we study people who consider themselves exceptionally lucky and unlucky. There's nothing magical going on. The lucky people are doing various things and behaving various ways to create these apparently wonderful incidents in their lives. Understand that, and you can learn to be lucky. So it was using the emotional hook, which the psychics and mediums normally have, but hopefully to say to people, look, science and psychology can help you if you understand what's going on. And that's something which I'm going to be doing in the next few years as well, this kind of more positive side of skepticism, because I think that way we reach a much, much wider audience rather than just the kind of negativity, which is very, very important, and the debunking and so on, massively important. But I'm also interested in the more positive sides as well.
That's a great attitude to have. Now, if our listeners want to find out more about what you do, to contact you, to watch your videos, where can they head?
Right at the moment, they can head to my blog, which is updated pretty much on a daily basis, and there's links to that from richardwiseman.com. So that's where I have all my talks and TV stuff and sorts of puzzles and illusions. So that's the main place. People on there are very kind. They do leave lots of comments, sometimes really quite long comments. I look at every single one and occasionally comment myself. So, yeah, that's the main kind of protocol. It's becoming a bit of a hub of activity, and it would be very nice to see people come and visit it and leave comments.
So, everybody, please visit Richard Wiseman's website, richardwiseman.com, and you can follow the links. And I can sincerely recommend Quirkology. It's a fun book. I mean, as we were discussing before, you get a giggle right from the cover. So there's lots of really good, interesting stuff in the book Quirkology. So Richard Wiseman, again, thank you very much for appearing on the Skeptic Zone. And I'll be sending you a little parcel of goodies from Australia, some DVDs and videos you might enjoy.
That's very kind. Looking forward to it. And thank you for having me. And I look forward to coming back another time.
Anytime.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Far by George Harab. You can find out more about George Harab by visiting his website at www.georgeharab.blogspot.com, where you can even find the lyrics to this song. Try singing along with it. Of course, he's singing about the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast, one podcast every day for 2009. And you can find that at 365daysofastronomy.org. Check it out. There'll be a contribution by the Skeptic Zone in May.
This stuff is far. It's really far. This stuff is far, far, far away. We're talking far. Like far. Can't get there by car in a day. It's super duper crazy far, but just pulsars, quasars, and stars. I mean, it's far, 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 far. If there's some doubt, listen to a shout. This stuff is far.
Welcome to Sydney Skeptics in the Pub. A great crowd tonight. Oh, there's about 60 people here. I've got my little hand recorder. I'm going to be running around talking to some people. And then later on, I think we've got a song or two by Dave the Happy Singer, who you may remember from the Think Tank, our occasional guest. So let me see who I can find.
Skeptics in the Pub is going so well tonight. I'm here with Joanne. Hello.
Hi, how you going?
I'm well. Now, you are the inspiration behind what we at the Skeptics have done recently. We put up an open letter to pharmacies out there, pharmacists, to plead with them to stop selling magic and magical potions in their shops. Now, this was based on an experience you had.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of weeks ago now, I went into one of the local pharmacies. And I'm quite used to going into pharmacies and seeing, what they call alternative medicines or natural products on the shelves. But up until now, I've only ever seen them in a separate area to where we would see evidence-based medicines, so to speak. And I was just browsing the shelves, and I noticed that in the section where they keep the children's Panadol, paracetamol, or ibuprofen, they had placed homeopathic remedies, some of which were for things like nappy rash and fairly, I suppose, mundane childhood ailments that a parent would deal with. But one of them was for fever and pain. Now, the thing is, I'm a registered nurse, so I'm not a parent. I don't have any experience of raising children, but as a registered nurse, I certainly know that pain and fever are pretty serious symptoms either in a child or in an adult. And so as a skeptic, my curiosity, of course, got the better of me, and I thought I'd look a little bit closer at these products. And they were very much being promoted as an alternative to the evidence-based medicines that we would give patients for these things.
Yeah.
And I actually questioned the pharmacist about this, and I said to him, would you be recommending these products for your clients? And he said he didn't sort of give me a definite answer, but he said that he practiced evidence-based pharmacy, and I found that quite interesting because I thought, as a pharmacist, if you practice evidence-based pharmacy, then why have you got these products on your shelf? Because, as we know, homeopathic remedies are in no way evidence-based. And his response was that it was really a decision of the owner of the pharmacy, not himself as an employee of the pharmacy. And I found this quite worrying because certainly pharmacists, as professional members of the health community, as a non-medical person in society, going into a pharmacy, I think, we've always seen pharmacists as being health professionals who we would expect to be knowledgeable about the products that they're providing to us, and certainly have knowledge of them above what we would have as lay individuals. And the fact that they are either promoting or providing or making accessible products which potentially are unsafe is quite worrying.
Yeah.
Now, particularly with something like this homeopathic remedy for pain and fever, I felt that a parent going into a pharmacy would see this product on the shelf. And I mean, interestingly, the way they're promoted, the colours are all very soothing. It's all under this banner of a safer alternative, a natural alternative. And for a parent who's concerned about their child's safety, making a responsible choice for one's child, they're going to perhaps choose what is promoted as a safer alternative. When in fact, for a child with a potentially serious illness, treating pain or fever with effectively sugar pills or water is really making a very dangerous decision. I really felt at that point that it was something I wanted to bring to the attention of the pharmaceutical body, because they really are the ones who have the capacity to influence this.
Well, because of those concerns, it occurred to me that this is a very good opportunity for us. And so the Australian Skeptics have composed a letter addressed to pharmacies, and that's probably valid all around the world, although it says Australian on it. If you go to www.skeptics.com.au, you can download this open letter, print it out, and present it to your pharmacist.
Well, I think that's something that anyone who has noticed these things in their pharmacy would be wise to take advantage of, because I think certainly any health professionals who have noticed this are in a position to do that. And I think certainly as a nurse myself, the nursing profession is in a position to, we have a great deal of influence over our patients. And so, I think that's something that we would be in a position to take advantage of and to use that. And in nursing, I think we have a responsibility as health professionals to be promoting evidence-based practice, and in any of our interactions with our patients, to be communicating to them what is responsible in their healthcare. So, for example, when a nurse conducts a health assessment of a patient, questioning them about the alternative remedies that they may be using, I don't think it's necessarily the right situation to be criticising a patient's choices, because I think that one of the things that we need to be aware of is our patient's vulnerability. And I think that's really actually what this comes down to, is that anyone going into a pharmacy making a choice about a medicine is in a vulnerable position. And when pharmacists are making a recommendation of a particular item, they sort of have to draw that line between where they are a business person and where they are a pharmacist.
That's true.
Because I think there's perhaps, I don't know, what you might call a bit of a conflict of interest there. They have a vested interest in the financial part of their business, but they also have a responsibility to the people coming into their pharmacy to provide them with information. And I think that's perhaps where things are falling down, is that the information that people are getting is not actually allowing them to make informed choices, and particularly when that information is presented in a way that is misleading, then and using fear-mongering tactics as well, then you're leaving vulnerable people in a position where they are perhaps either going to end up having a severe physical consequence, or just making a choice that is perhaps uninformed and then may lead on to other potentially dangerous consequences.
So you just somebody who's gone into a pharmacy saw this happening, but you've done something about it. At least you've expressed your opinion to us, and we've been able to mass communicate this. So well done.
Thank you very much
for the idea. It's fantastic. We love it. And Excellent. It's inspired us to have more open letters to people for which we have concerns.
That would be fantastic.
Thank you, Joanne.
Looking forward to seeing the results.
All you people over here to my left, do you want to hear a song that you've never heard before? All you people over here at the back, do you want to hear a song that I haven't heard before? Thank you, almost 3 people. All you guys over here, do you want to hear a song that's not even been written yet? Yes! Okay, this is my next big hit. This is a song about a girl. But I want you guys to tell me, over here on the left, you guys over here on the left and you guys at the back, I want you to tell me what the name of this girl is. Prunella. Prunella. Okay, that's awesome. And all you people down here kind of to my right, can you tell me what kind of job this girl does?
Ear candler.
I'm not going to take 2 or 3, but you fucking won me. Okay, this is my next big hit. This is Prunella the Ear Candler. So much trouble and strife, so much shit going on in my life, I don't know what I should do. I got problems and I think it's physical, I don't know what's going wrong with my body. I feel so odd. Then I saw your ad in the paper. You said, buy my ear candle and you'll be able to get a handle on your problems, cause it's detox, and it sucks all the crazy stuff out like magic. It's amazing. So I felt like a tune, and I thought I was a fool when I went into the chemist and said, I have a candle to stick in my ear that's going to suck out all the impurities by some kind of mythical kind of quasi-capillary action out of my ear, and I don't know. Sorry, I've been writing my songs on a rational basis for so long now. So I took your candle and stuck it in my ear and set fire to the end, and I thought, here it comes, the end of my troubles, the beginning of my cheer, and I felt a drip down my ear canal, felt my eardrum bubble, and I knew that it was the end of all my worries, the end of all my earthly problems and trouble. Prunella, the ear candler, you saved my life. Would you please be my bullshit, crazy fucking psychopathic wife? Oh, Prunella, my darling. Anti-scientific woo-woo fall in love the way that I fell in love with
Now, if you'd like to join us here for Sydney Skeptics in the Pub, the best thing you can do is join the Sydney Skeptics Meetup group. And that's skeptics.meetup.com/163. Hope you can join us. Well, that's the Skeptic Zone, episode number 20 for the 6th of March. Thanks for listening. Next week, we'll have our regular lineup with Dr. Raichi Reports, The Roundup with Michael Wallahan, Grain of Salt with Iran Segev, and, of course, The Think Tank. And if you're looking for something to read between now and then, you can subscribe to The Skeptic magazine, the journal of Australian skeptics. And you can do that by visiting www.skeptics.com.au. While you're there, you can download that open letter to pharmacists we were talking about earlier. Until next week, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to The Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.
The Skeptic Zone.